All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining in. As I understand, we have viewers from all over the world, from every single continent, so I'm thrilled to be able to welcome all of you here today. Now, what is today really all about? Zenheiser is launching a new product, taking another step forward. So naturally, the experts who have been working on the development of this product for these past years would love to share all of that with you here today. My name is Yasmin Blair, and it's my great pleasure to be your host of today's session. And I can tell you this much. Today, we can all look forward to some very special guests. We do have Andreas and Daniel Sennheiser coming up. They're going to be sharing with us some very exclusive insight. And also, we will be able to meet from the development team two experts who can also give us some behind-the-scenes experience. And also, last but not least, something we're especially excited about is a live performance. And I don't want to give away too much. That is a surprise for later on. So as you've probably already noticed, it's all about raising the bar. It's about an evolution, one fit to overcome any type of limitation and offer you a lot of brand new opportunities. This evolution, this is going to change complex to easy. It's about offering new powerful tools that work for you. And today we speak of wireless systems. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to officially introduce to you our new Evolution Wireless Digital. So what exactly is Evolution Wireless Digital? It's a digital UHF system that redefines your wireless setup, whether on stages, in schools, universities, in companies, or in houses of worship. It's designed to work for anybody, the pro-level audio engineer as well as first-time user. And for those of you who love core facts, here come two. It's smart and it's easy. It has the highest input dynamic range of any wireless system currently available on the market. Plus, it has the lowest latency that you'll find out there today. And here comes the best part, everyone. We don't really need to understand why all of this technical information is so important. All we need to know is that the system works for us and helps us bring our performance to the next level. And now, before we move along to have an even closer look at more details, please keep in mind that our Q&A section is now open, so you can ask anything you would like. And our team here at Zenheiser, they're going to keep a very close eye, and we'll get back to those questions later on during our session. All right, and now it's time to have that said detailed tour of Evolution Wireless Digital. First of all, it is definitely a class of its own when it comes to usability, because it does a lot more than just adding new digital features. It makes the entire workflow easy, and that is whether you are a tech-savvy professional or simply a casual user who wants to just grab the microphone and sing or teach or speak. So what does this new workflow look like exactly? Well, it is an app-driven workflow. The system works with the EWD Smart Assist app, and that means that you can manage, you can set up the entire system using your iOS or Android phone with Bluetooth Low Energy. All you need is right there at your fingertips. Auto setup frequencies, syncing transmitters and receivers, naming channels to be able to keep them apart properly, or checking the battery status or signal strength. All of that works right here within the app. So to sum it up, basically what we have here is a sort of tiny little engineer right in our pockets, and one simple interface that works for everyone. And yes, we will be taking an even more detailed tour later on during our session. Next up is the input dynamic range. The system's transmitters have an input dynamic range of 134 dB, and that is 5 times more than the usual 120 dB. That means that you can basically pick up everything from a soft whisper all the way to a jet engine starting at 50 yards distance. In return, this eliminates the need for a sensitivity setting on the transmitter entirely. On the receiver side, however, you can, of course, always fine-tune anything you need within your application. Now, in case you're feeling this might be a bit technical, then let me just try and translate that for you into what it is. It is a new ease of use. No matter what you do, whether you perform, whether you sing or you play an instrument very softly or very loudly, you are safe. Your signal is now safe. And basically that is all you need to know. No clipping, no distortion. Everything simply sounds nice. And this feature is actually a perfect example of how software can define what hardware is really and truly capable of. And as already mentioned, I will be handing it over to two members of our development team in just a few minutes to give you even more information, and they do have some very astonishing facts. Moving along, what about frequency management? Now, what we need to keep in mind is that for a lot of reasons, the UHF range is becoming smaller and smaller. It's no longer this large workspace that we used to take for granted. It's a worldwide phenomenon that it's becoming more and more congested. There are so many other services that cause this. Mobile services, television channels, and dozens of other RF sources. So that means that your available frequency space is becoming smaller and smaller by the year. It's becoming more and more jammed up. That is exactly why Evolution Wireless Digital includes tech features from the high-end series of Zenheiser. It operates with an equidistant frequency grid. That means all the links can be arranged with consistent spacing. In return, that means that you will no longer be experiencing any trouble with intermodulation or with any negative effects caused by poor channel management. So, as you can tell, once again, you're safe, always and automatically, and that's all you need to know, right? Additionally, the equidistant frequency grid, it allows for the best possible use of any given frequency window, and that translates as up to 90 channels. All right, everyone, those were just 3 key features of the new Evolution Wireless Digital series. And of course, we have sets for any use case. There are handhelds for singers, presenters, body packs with lavalier options, like the one I'm using here today. We have instrument sets and sets with a headset option. Of course, all of the handhelds can be used with any microphone head that has the Sennheiser capsule interface. So you can hang on to your beloved Neumann KKs or MM435s, for example, just as well. So once again, the new Evolution Wireless Digital series, it is here to raise the bar higher when it comes to what we can and should expect from our gear. It is designed to make things easier than ever, and it does so while using extremely sophisticated technology to achieve just that. The enormous input dynamic range and the equidistant frequency grid, those were just 2 examples. But before we go into detail on these milestones, I look forward to opening up the screen for our first 2 guests. With us now are Andreas and Daniel Sennheiser. Happy to have you two.
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you for having us, and a warm welcome from both of us to all of you who are joining us today from their homes and offices across the globe. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Evolution Wireless Digital indeed is a milestone. And with our focus on the professional side of the audio business, you will be seeing many more smart products, such as this one coming from Zenheiser. So why is this a milestone? We had shared earlier that we will put a focus on digital services and workflows in the professional audio space. And Evolution Wireless Digital is indeed the first product that makes this promise come true, with an app that lets you concentrate fully on what really matters to you. Making music, teaching, fascinating audiences with your words. In brief, a system that lets you focus entirely on your passion.
Absolutely. And this is where your passion meets ours. In everything we do, we live and breathe audio and put users at the center of what we do. And the combination of these is to turn our most popular wireless series, Evolution Wireless, into a digital product. And this is not about making things digital for the sake of digitization. It is about establishing totally new workflows. And if that sounds too technical, it's about delivering easy-to-use tools that help you bring your passion across. Tools that remain in the background but support you all the way. Such tools should not force their own logic on you, but must be as intuitive as possible and save you valuable time for the things you love and want to focus on. So the team behind Evolution Wireless Digital listened to many customers, distilled their wishes, and combined them with their state-of-the-art tech expertise. And you will soon learn more from two members of that team.
Let me pick that up, Andreas, because what you just said is so important. We love to see the team spending time with the most diverse customer groups in the field. After all, wireless microphones are used in many different places, in corporations, in education, in events like ours now, and of course in music, be it on stage or streamed live. And there was something new to learn from all of these interactions. And that's how the development of a product should ideally work. It should be a true partnership between users and us. We're putting all of the engineering expertise into something that helps customers realize their ambition, their passion, without asking them to have the same technical expertise.
You're right, Daniel. And with Evolution Wireless Digital, this expertise is in a software, a smart app that helps you with your project, no matter whether you're a tech-savvy pro or someone who has never touched a wireless system before. And you still have the same high level of reliability and quality that you have come to expect of Zenheiser. And we'll continue to push innovations like this one.
Definitely, Andreas. And now it's the team's turn to tell you more about Evolution Wireless Digital. Let me thank all of you once again for attending this session. Back to you, Jasmine.
Thanks, Andreas, and thank you, Daniel. All right, everyone, let's take another look behind the scenes at our labs and teams. And as I've heard, the development of this series was special in many ways. I'm now happy to welcome Oliver Schmitz and Benny Franke with me. Hi, guys.
Hey, Jasmine.
Now, Oliver is the product manager for this series. Benny focuses on the user interface design for the app. And Benny, I heard that you've worked as a live sound engineer before, so changing the perspective from user to creator, that must be interesting.
Yes, indeed, it was. From wearing shorts and setting up trucks full of gear and sleeping on a bus on the way to the next city to high-tech labs and representing a company with a global reputation was quite a switch. But luckily, I had Ollie, who is a long-term professional on that domain, and a big team full of experts that was actually needed, because we are talking about a system that follows on G3 and G4, which are still industry standard systems. And I've set them up myself many years, and I've seen them on a lot of stages, and they've been used by bands like Queen and their highly skilled technical professionals, and on the same time by janitors in primary schools who set up sound, video, and light at the same time, but have never been taught how to set up a system like that. So our main focus became this catering both those extremes with one system at the same time. And after presenting this idea on our first brainstorm meeting to the team, and they realized what kind of task this was going to be. Remember when it became quiet all of a sudden?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we think back to the first generation of Evolution Wireless, actually, that was a huge inventive step, I would say. And that is 20 years ago already. And ever since then, we have fine-tuned and optimized the system and the product. We did it generation by generation. And now we were tasked to let go of this analog technology, and we're tasked to use a technology we so far only used in our very high-end series products, right? Like D6K and D9K. And we couldn't compromise on any of the performance metrics of the system, right? Because we really needed to live up to the expectation that people and customers have on Evolution Wireless. And that is, excel at every use case, no matter if you're the talent or the tech. So, in a nutshell, basically, we had to reach the same level of perfection, but we weren't granted the possibility to do that in iterations and iterations. We really had to do that in one shot.
Yeah, and that meant a lot of homework.
And that was basically the point in time where we started to go into detailed talks with end users, essentially on all levels, right? We reached out to engineers, to artists, to people from IT departments, to media administrators, and essentially they were all telling us the same, right? They They said, we love Evolution Wireless for its reliability, its sound, its build quality, scalability. But some of them also made the comment that, yeah, sometimes your gear might appear a bit techy, a bit complicated to, yeah, let's install and operate. And at that moment in time, we actually began to realize what levers we could actually pull with the app. And that meant you and the app team went into interviews as well, right?
Yeah, we ask users worldwide from I'm scared of the word frequency all the way up to the highly skilled professionals. And for those interviews, we prepared a whole stack of features. But at the end of the day, it came down to, why don't you just build something that I can switch on and it works everywhere, anytime, all the time? And with all the features, but I don't want to take care of them. And with this challenge, we said, all right.
Right, but at the same time, we said we didn't want to forget about our pro customers, right? We needed a product that existed in both worlds. And luckily enough, we actually found an element that both worlds kind of shared. And that was a desire for safety. Although safety translates a bit different if we are talking about the pro world rather than the non-techie user world, so to speak. While safety for a pro means I've got full control over every single aspect of my system, it's more about automation in the other world. So essentially, the whole thing was a balancing act, right? We needed to come up with a most easy-to-use product, but at the same time, let it be the Swiss Army knife with all the options unfold if required.
And you know what excited me the most? It's actually two things. The one thing is that we move away from this marketing ease of use to a really implemented ease of use with this app-driven workflow. And the second thing is, due to the Bluetooth Low Energy communication port we have in here now, we can also sync our transmitters via Bluetooth Low Energy. And before that, I've sat in front of RF racks many times, and there you have to sync your transmitter by unscrewing this shell and then holding the port in a certain distance and position in front of the rack and wait for it to sync. And then you look to the right and you see 25 more transmitters, and you have to do this twice a day at least, and that's an exhausting task. Now, I hit the button, the sync button here and there, and I just have to be in the same room, and it takes less than a second, and I'm done. And that's a cool thing, I think.
Absolutely, and the team can be proud of so many things they actually achieved with this product. It really felt like a revolution to be in that project. It was due, right? If we just look at the fact how spectrum changed over the last couple of years. I mean, the UHF spectrum for wireless microphones that was available 20 years ago was like this. And today we're more talking about this size, with this size becoming more and more congested. So I must say I'm really relieved that we can actually renew our promise on rock-solid wireless audio with this product.
And that was not an easy one, but we could bring in the expertise from our D6 and 9K series.
Very true. And finally, the reason why we can now experience D6K and D9K technology living in EWD. I mean, just take the equidistant grid, for instance. So important to get the maximum channel count actually out of your frequency range, right? And the even better part of it is the usability part, right? So it comes without any headache on intermodulation products and any need for pre-calculated frequencies and what have you. So this is essentially then the reason why EWD can theoretically provide up to 90 channels. And that was, let's say, that was the point in time where we could really say, okay, mission accomplished on the hardware side. And now it was on you and the app team, again, to kind of pour that into a compelling user experience. And as I can see, you're already on it, right?
Yes. I really like how it translates those more techie tasks you have to overcome while setting up a UHF system. And we translated this into a more colory, clicky interface that can be absolutely non-technical if you want to. But on the other hand, as we were talking about earlier, you can also access all the parameters that might be required by the pros, right? Like in this dashboard, we see a lot of devices. We're currently in a demo mode. This is kind of cool for people who do not own any hardware yet. They can download the app, take the demo mode and check it out and get their way around it. And here we see a couple of devices, mock-up devices, and we see battery status and stuff like that. On the top, there's a thing we call Smart Center. That's a reserved space for critical information you might want to know, like very low battery, clipping, things like this. And on the bottom tab bar, you see something like Support Hub. We put this in, even though most of the workflows are automated or at least guided, we added quick tips like how to set up antennas or remove batteries. We have the Sound Academy tab here, which incorporates all the tutorials we made. And of course, the manual is right at your fingertips all the time. You don't have to look for them online. It's right there. And to show you more the pro side technical thing, if I go onto one unit, I can access all the parameters of this unit if I want to. On the other hand, I can do something like auto scan. So if I don't know how to set up frequencies and everything, I hit auto scan and I hit next, and that's all I have to do. Now it does the whole scan and frequency deployment and stuff like this. Yeah, and that's one example of this automation thing. And even the engineers love this feature, because it does pretty much what they would have been doing anyway in the manual manner, and now it's automated.
Cool. And the app is available for iOS and Android, or?
Absolutely. You can get it for pretty much any Android phone and all the iPhones.
Cool.
And iPads and Android tablets as well.
Hold on. And do you know what kept me the most excited about this end-user test campaign? That was actually the point in time where we realized that most of the users really got back to us and told us they were really impressed by our build quality, and that they were that they enjoyed the fact that we're going for metal housings again. So, and I must say, we as product managers, we have a stack of decisions we have to make with the project team on a daily basis. And every decision we actually did specifically on material we wanted to use was a very conscious one, right? Because this clearly reflected for us high standards and an understanding of reliability and durability.
Yeah, and this positive feedback kept coming for the app side of things as well. People we gave this to on little streaming studios, bigger streaming studios and stages all around, loved this set and forget, no-brainer workflow. And I'm really excited to see this later this year on a lot of more stages. And the next cool thing with this app is, even though this hardware will be out there, we can still implement new features in the app, push out an app update, and everybody has more value in his system without returning anything or paying more or something like that. So this evolution is an ongoing thing now.
You know, and this is what I'm really proud of. I'm really proud of this kind of software enablement, right? When hardware and software merge together.
Absolutely.
And actually form something new which is beneficial for the customer. As for instance is with our large audio input bandwidth, right? I mean, it's essentially nothing more hardware-wise than this kind of semiconductor chip, right? But this chip combined with a lot of brain power and some, let's say, smart signal processing inside, finally guarantees our 134 dB audio input dynamics. And now you as a, let's say, non-techie user, you could say, what about these additional few dBs that you have? And I think that's the part that is even more beautiful. It's not just on audio quality again, right? It's on ease of use again. Because this input bandwidth, this input dynamics finally makes that you don't have to think about sensitivity on your transmitter again, right? It's without any clipping. So here we have ease of use again, and I really can't wait to launch this product.
Absolutely.
Well, then let's hand the session back to Jasmine. Jasmine, we will join you for a quick Q&A with our viewers. So talk in a bit.
All right, thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Benny. Looking forward to seeing you in a minute. So why don't we just sum it up for a minute? So far, we've heard all about the team's determination to make Evolution Wireless Digital a very easy-to-use tool for any application, that is. We've heard about the team's credo. We've taken a look at the app itself. We've spoken about the equidistant frequency grid and how this helps you get the most out of any given frequency window. And we've learned that we can now feed just about any audio signal into the transmitters. And now I look forward very much to find out what you would still like to know about the new series. And I look forward to our two experts to join us here for a Q&A session. The questions are now coming in. I can see them on my screen behind the camera. And here come our experts. Oliver, Benny, nice to see you guys.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Second gig today, but still no routine, I would say.
Still no routine, all right. So everything is fresh, and we can take
exciting,
that.
yeah.
We can take that feeling into our Q&A session.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me. In any case, and I would say let's hop right in and get started to make the most out of our time, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Now, first question up is, when will the product be available, Oliver?
Yeah.
As of?
Happy to announce that the product is available as of yesterday and in stock with our retail partners.
All right, so you can run out and grab it right away, to be exact. Next up, where can I get the app? Benny, where is the app downloadable?
You can download from the iOS App Store, from the Google Play Store, and if you are, for example, in China mainland and you don't have access to the Play Store, you can download the APK from our landing page.
From the landing page as well. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Benny, for that. Next up, we have a question from Peter Kwong. Thank you so much, Peter, for participating. Is there a demo mode for the app to play around with? That was my very first question to you, Benny. Is there a demo mode for us to try it out?
We put a demo mode in with 16 mock-up devices where you can play around with pretty much every feature we put in. And yeah, get your head around and then later work with your hardware.
And get acquainted and make sure it's the right thing for you at the same time.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Benny, and thank you, Peter, for that question. We think very much alike. Next up, what capsules can I use with the transmitter? Ollie, which capsules are there?
Yeah, that's good news, actually. We can literally use any mic head we have in offer, any Zenheiser mic head with Evolution Wireless Digital and Neumann mic heads as well.
So you can hang on to your favorite mic head as long as it's adaptable, which it is in that case.
Yeah.
If it's a Neumann, for example.
Yeah.
Neumann, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
good.
Ollie. Thank you. Next up, we have Peter back with us. Thank you, Peter Kwong, for your second question. How does the system get rid of intermodulation? We spoke of intermodulation, Ollie. Could
Yeah.
you explain it technically,
Yeah.
but dumb it down a bit for us non-techies?
Absolutely. So technically, it wouldn't be that we entirely get rid of intermodulation. Of course, there is intermodulation we are generating, but it is that low in the spectrum that we do not need to account for it, so to speak. And let's say the technical mechanism behind is simply that we put quite some effort and quite some focus into designing the entire system as linear as possible.
Okay.
And that we go with a transmit power level of 10 milliwatts. That's kind of the magic behind.
And those two things were essential during
Yeah.
development to keep
Right.
intermodulation as low
Yeah.
as possible. Thank you so much for that, Ollie, and thank you for your question again, Peter. Hardy is asking which delay is caused by AD conversion, transmitting, and DA conversion.
Yeah.
Oliver.
So that's the overall system latency, and that is 1.9 milliseconds, which is best-in-class performance.
All right. Well, you can be proud of that. Nothing to add. 1.9 milliseconds is the answer right there to your question. Thank you for that. We have Ike Zimbel. Why would you have to sync your transmitters twice a day? Did you say that you needed to sync them twice a day? Benny, was that what you were saying?
I did
next
say
door?
that. That's just, you know, on bigger productions like festivals and something, then you have your sound check in the morning, so you have to set up wireless, and then when you have your show in the afternoon or in the night, there might be different productions setting up in the meantime that occupy your frequencies. So you have to rescan and obviously then resync. That's why I said twice a day.
So, but if
that's
you had-
not the case in every application.
So if you had one long show, then you wouldn't have to take a break to resync. It's only if you
No.
have like a break, and that's what you were.
If it's your own show
Fancy.
and you're in one venue, you probably don't have to do that.
All right.
Just like festivals where you have a lot of bands playing with a lot of wireless gear,
All right.
or ENG teams.
Thank you, Benny. All right, I hope that answered the question. Thank you so much. Marco, price range, right? One of the most important things we have not yet spoken about, actually.
Yeah.
Price range, what are we looking at, Oliver?
Yeah, we're actually starting at $599 recommended retail price. At $599, we go with the what we call base sets. So base sets are essentially involving either a handheld microphone without a mic head plus the receiver, or a body pack transmitter and a receiver. And then we go all the way up over a full handheld system involving the MMD Evolution 835 capsule, or lavalier sets, ME2, ME4, all the way up to combo sets involving body pack and handheld transmitter, and they go for $999.
All right, so it's between approximately 600 euros or dollars, that is, correct?
Yeah, right.
All the way up to under 1,000 euros or dollars. What are we seeing here? For example, we have some sets here in the studio.
Yeah.
How much would these be approximately, the way they're
This would
here
be
today?
this would be what we call the handheld set, involving the MMD 835 capsule. That one goes for $699.
All right.
And this is the instrument set coming with an instrument cable for guitarists, for instance, and that is going for $649.
All right, okay, thank you so much for that. I hope that gives you an idea, and thank you for your question. Peter Kwong is back with us. Thank you, Peter. Will the digital system play nice with the current wireless systems? Can you combine?
Yeah, I guess what Peter is referring to when he says current wireless system is probably G4, our mid-tier analog wireless offering. Yeah, and in fact, Evolution Wireless Digital is meant to coexist with these systems. So you can combine them in one installation. There are a few caveats that you actually need to take care of. You have to have a close eye on. That is, for instance, that you then stick to the rules with regard to pre-calculated frequencies and presets. So you have to keep an eye on that. And that you use the accessory, the RF accessory that we also launched today or yesterday, essentially, meaning splitters, boosters of EWD.
But the most important fact, I think, is that you can indeed combine analog and digital, which is good to know.
You can do that.
Thank you so much, Ollie, for that. Thank you for that question. We have Ike Zimbel back once more. Does the system interface with WSM? Ollie's already looking towards Benny, so I'll do the same.
Yes. It does not, because there's no network port at the back. And it is made for, and we already said this, focusing on ease of use and automation, and that's why we created this app. And due to the equidistant grid setup, there's no need for complex frequency allocation, which WSM mostly does. So you might not need it at the end of the day anyway.
Right.
But it's not possible, to answer the question.
Okay, it's not possible, but there probably would not be any need for that. Thank you so much, Benny. Next up, we have Kieran. Thank you for joining us, Kieran. How is this different than Speechline series and D1 series, Oliver? Maybe you can just point out the main highlights when it comes to what differentiates the two.
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's about positioning in our, let's say, entire wireless portfolio, right? And Evolution Wireless Digital is essentially very different to Speechline Digital Wireless, for instance. Speechline Digital Wireless is a DECT system. It's operating in the DECT band, 1.9 gigahertz, while Evolution Wireless Digital is a UHF system. And as far as D1 is actually concerned, that is and that was a 2.4 gigahertz system. So essentially a different story.
A different story. What would you say is the main benefit if you compare the two systems?
I would say that is robustness and reliability. So
Of the new system.
Of the new system, right. So EWD comes, as I said, in the UHF band. That is, let's say, the most suitable band with regard to propagation conditions for wireless microphones. And that makes it that attractive with regard to reliability.
All right, thank you for that. That is the main difference. Thank you for that question. Brian is up next. How easy does the system make frequency coordination for a band with, let's say, about 7 channels in a crowded RF area like Los Angeles, New York City, Berlin, etc.? That is a great question, and I know you have a fantastic answer to that. Benny.
Maybe. Well, we put in an auto-scan function in the app, and this works obviously anywhere. And it looks for the most rugged frequency it can find, and if you have 7 Was it 7? Yeah,
they
7
said,
links.
yeah.
It looks for exactly 7 frequencies and deploys them.
Automatically.
Automatically to the receiver. You do have to sync your transmitter yourself or manually. And if you do have a problem later on or in the show, you can use the auto-scan me function we put in to rescan for just one channel. So you don't touch the other 6. You don't have to resync everything, just this one channel. And yeah, that should do it, right?
So
And I would have one thing in addition, because Brian pointed out the fact that the spectrum may be a bit congested
in large cities, where it's
in large
busy.
cities, right? And let's say the beneficial thing with EWD is that we did implement an equidistant tuning grid of 600 kilohertz, and that finally ensures that you get the maximum out of your available bandwidth.
And in theory, we can use up to 90 channels, that is, right?
Yeah.
He was just speaking of 7 band members. What is the most that you've actually ever tried out yourself, Benny? Or how high would it go?
Well, due to this whole home office thing,
Yeah.
I only have 4 at home, but
Okay.
our developers have way more. I think they tried 24.
Yeah.
And that worked,
And that worked
seamlessly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, and thank you, Brian, for your question. Hardy, what's the power consumption of this transmitter compared to the analog ones? That's an interesting question, the power consumption. Can you say?
With regard to power consumption, I wouldn't have any detailed figures at hand, but what I can tell is, as far as operating time is concerned, and I guess this is the probably even more interesting metric here, operating time is 12 hours with a lithium-ion battery, the BA70, that we are also releasing today. And with standard AA batteries, we are actually reaching up to 8 hours of operating time.
Up to 8 hours?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so if that doesn't answer the question, then feel free to send us a follow-up, all right? Thank you for that. Next up, a viewer is asking, does the system provide encrypted communication? Does it,
No.
Benny Oliver?
No, it
No,
doesn't.
no encrypted communication?
No.
All right, thank you for that. And Kieran is back with us. Thank you for rejoining us with this following question. If I want to use more than 16 channels on the app, how to use the app since there is limitation on the app? This is what we were just speaking about, but perhaps you'd like to verify once more that you can use up to, in theory, 90 channels, right, Benny?
You could use 90 channels. If you want to control this via a smart device, then you would divide 90 by 16, which will be about 6 smart devices probably. So yeah, then you would have to use 6 smart devices with each controlling 16 channels.
All right. Thank you for doing the math. Thank you, Benny. And back to our next question, which is from Liam. This is the last one we'll be able to take due to time. If it doesn't integrate with WSM, how do I monitor receivers on stage from front of house as I can with G3 and G4? Again, what is the difference?
I would probably answer this question in a way that Evolution Wireless Digital, as an entire portfolio, it's actually intended to become an entire portfolio covering the entire application range that G4 is covering today.
Right.
So this is truly, let's say, the first release. We're actually planning for more products to come in future, but I cannot announce a specific launch date as of today.
All right. Okay, so we'll just have to keep a close eye on the website, for example, to be up to date.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ollie, and thank you to all of our viewers for these very smart questions, and greetings out to the States, to whoever actually has joined us for this Q&A session. And thank you, of course, to my experts, Ollie and Benny. Stay safe. See you soon, right?
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Cheers.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
And remember, if your question was not answered, no worries. Benny and Oliver will get back to you as soon as possible. And now the only thing still missing today is, of course, the full experience. Seeing is believing, you know what they say. In our case, of course, hearing is believing just as well. That is why it's time to witness Evolution Wireless Digital in action. We asked Berlin-based singer, rapper, and songwriter Yetundey to put the system to the ultimate test, so I can't wait to find out if she's going to make proper use of that input range I've been talking about today. I'm sure she will. So everyone enjoy the show, and keep in mind, Yetundey will stick around for a short interview afterwards, so be sure to drop any questions you may have for her. For now, I would like to say, Yetundey, the stage is yours. Lights out.
like city life. Just a hole in the flow of this big metropole. Play my role in the show, get my coffee too cold. Living it, snooze more generation, YOLO, no. It all comes back again till the sun goes on vacation and all comes to an end. There'll be you, there'll be me. America's Got Talent and porn for free. Take a break, take a kick cut. You came late, had a quick on the bus. Why is everybody making such a fuss? Ladies, get your final touch. Silicone and Botox, big booty deluxe, huh? French fries and Pizza Huts. But who got the guts to really dance? Being someone who shares, who cares when they're stuck in fairs, which need more press. Push each other down the stairs for Jordan's newest pass. Can you relate? Do you evaluate this world debate between love and hate, mate? We all have the same fate, living in this world God made, this paradise our thoughts could create. But we radiate with depression, suppression, aggression. No space for affection between success and perfection. We've lost the connection. All we want is action today, right now. Can't wait. Bring me my crown, stays. Leave, lover. Big brother versus teen mother. Why should I be clean? Or when excess is too fat for the Cosmo cover. Skin bleach, browser, pimp my color. Tell me, why should we need each other? Everybody wanna get up, up, up. If you want me to be on top, top, top. When will all of this stop? When will all of this stop? Everybody wanna get up, up, up. Everyone need to be on top, top, top. When will all of this stop? When will all of this stop? We're Candy Crush on a sugar rush. Every second need to be in touch. Never take it back, we always need to push, push, push till we drop. Vanish in the mob, don't you dare to talk more or less than you were taught. Be the quickest or you will get caught, my friend. Let's pretend we could all win in the end. Wouldn't that mean we were indifferent? Yes, we could get rid of this whole mess, but we're addicted to the stress. How to impress if it got less, and we could rest the competition with the rest. Then who's the best? Living it at warp 9, find a second of time. We sit back and go blind, drink a vodka, woman, white to find someone I find. Get horny, clear our minds, neither prayers sign up for being divine. We admit what we are what we say what we think. So for thoughts either way under destiny can be changed every day, then why is it that all I see is pain? Stand alone in the rain, every call for help is in vain. Cause all we love is trim ourselves to the bones. Section bones of phones and Game of Thrones. Everybody wanna get up, up, up. Everyone need to be on top, top, top. When will all of this stop? When will all of this stop? Everybody wanna get up, up, up. Everyone need to be on top, top, top. When will all of this stop? When will all of this stop? Everybody wanna get up, up, up. Everyone need to be on top, top, top. When will all of this stop?
Woo! All right, a huge physical round of applause, virtual applause from all of you guys for the amazing Yetundey, and she's about to make her way on over through that light bulb, that hazardous, there she is. You made it, you survived the light bulb structure. Did you come up with that setting yourself, by the way?
I wish.
Okay, because the next question would have been why, but since it wasn't from you, okay. But you made it safely. Thank you so much for joining us, amazing performance.
Thank you.
How do you feel in this virtual setting? No physical audience, here with us at heart, but no real audience. How is it?
I mean, any form of audience, be it virtual or physical, is awesome. I mean,
Yay.
There's people out there taking a minute to listen to my music, and that's worth something. So thank you for that.
Very kind words. And have you actually gotten used to that, appearances, performances in studios? Or do you never really get used to not having an audience?
I don't think I ever want to get used to it, to be honest, because it's different and it has a great other vibe because you learn a lot about, obviously, camera, technology,
Right.
lights, and sets, but it's never going to compare to actually being in front of people and just with an audience. It's also a giving and taking. I give music, they give energy, that gives energy back, and there's no comparison to that.
I completely understand. That makes sense. Let's see what your audience is going to give back to you in terms of questions. Should we hop right into our Q&A?
Let's do it.
And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the Q&A section now. Yetundey is here for another few minutes to answer those. I'll take it from the top. First of all, I heard you sing in 3 different languages. You rap, you sing, you whisper, as we already just heard. How did you develop all this mix of styles and genres?
Honestly, a lot of trial and error. I think just by trying different genres and figuring out which ones I like and which ones I like composing most, and obviously developing my voice, learning how to use my voice, and that will give me a new range, and just really listening to a lot of music and being curious, I guess.
And trying new things out, right?
Yeah.
There is this incredible version of April live and totally unplugged. You're totally stripped, except that you're wearing this glamorous dress on the piano. On your website, check it out, April. It's really quite genius. And you do sing in all of your languages and all of your mother tongues, and you switch back and forth. Do you ever get mixed up or confused? Because I can hardly keep German and English apart if I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, it's basically that on steroids.
Okay.
So,
all right. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Next time you perform in that language, or one of those languages, or all of them, the other ones.
Yeah, I genuinely get confused. I have gigs where, especially when my set was still full English, but then I'd be like in front of a German audience, and then I'd host in German, and then rap in English, and then have a friend, like, it was, no.
No.
404, page not found.
Total error. But I'm glad that you get confused sometimes. It makes you very human. Thank you, Yetundey. Now, during the past year, next question up, have you ever thought, gosh, why didn't I become a doctor instead? It definitely wasn't the best year to be an artist. Did you ever feel like, oh, my parents were right, I should have studied something that had more fundamental value to the society?
Well,
or,
it was
I don't know.
actually my parents who told me, you don't have to study medicine. It's
that's
okay
great.
if you study music.
That's beautiful.
They wanted me to study, though. Like, let's stay real.
Study something, child.
Exactly. But yeah, of course, there's always that annual, what the hell am I doing with my life, doubting everything, moment that comes in where I think maybe, well, with medicine, my life would definitely be easier.
Perhaps.
Different challenges.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes I feel like it would be easier. Nevertheless, I'm very glad that I am an artist, even in these changing times.
In these challenging times, perhaps, which would be challenging for a doctor or anyone else, perhaps. You never know.
Everyone has, they definitely, also suffered.
Especially doctors.
Yes.
So does that mean that every year you'll kind of like reach this phase or this time when you take some time out to rethink, what am I doing? Where do I want to go? Was everything going the way that I had planned? Despite, with or without a pandemic, is this just something that you do on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of being an artist and being serious about making a career as an artist. It's always reflecting and looking at if what you're doing is actually working. So I think it just is part of the job description.
Okay.
To me personally.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Yetundey. And now, next question up. How do singers, musicians reach their audiences these days with social media being so full of talented people playing their instruments, performing from wherever? Were there things you wanted to try or definitely did not want to do? I think the question is, how do you actually make a wide audience aware of yourself, of your music, your talent, with all of this talent out there, especially due to the current situation, everyone only being able to present themselves online anymore. How do you be different from the rest or stand out?
I would say most obvious way, get rich real quick, invest money into ads and clicks, and then you're pretty good to go.
Okay, let's say you're not rich. What else is there?
It's a lot of, again, trial and error and being authentic, which is very hard in a landscape like social media, which is in a way so unauthentic and superficial, but at the same time it is authenticity which attracts people and which will encourage people to follow and kind of stick with you. So it's just a very awkward, complex, algorithmic balance between I have no idea, trying to figure out what I want to stand for, and luck and
all of that.
Regularity. Also, just keep working on it.
Keep going.
That's
all right.
the worst.
Okay, get rich. I'm going to take that home with me. Thank you for that very valuable tip. This summer, everyone hopes to see some things return that we've missed so badly. Do you have any plans? This is a great one. Do you have plans for gigs? Are there any live gigs we can look forward to?
I actually
Still.
have live shows lined up, coming up. They're still in the calendar, and I'm praying every day that it will remain this way. But yes, shows are coming back, and I'm very grateful for that.
Can we find those dates on your website?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And sometimes I post on them on my social media.
Sometimes, depending on how the day has been going, treating you. Okay, stick to the website would be my tip at this point. Social media, website. Next question up. I'm definitely keeping fingers crossed for live gigs. All right, we just spoke of that. Let's talk about inspiration. What inspires you as an artist? That is a very general question, but do you have something that inspired you maybe specifically last year or this year? Was there some kind of event that inspired you?
Life. Well, I wouldn't say there's a particular event that inspired me, but I just try to really remember moments that kind of emotionally hit me. It be that just like they make me laugh, they make me weary, or just think like, this is a very odd story or situation, and I often write them down. I have a long list in my phone with sometimes just phrases, funny phrases people say, sometimes stories or song ideas. And then, yeah, in moments like the pandemic where you have no new experiences coming up, it's very nice to just have a list and look inside and be like, oh, yeah, I'm getting a vibe from this. Let's go that way.
Very convenient. So it can be anything from an everyday situation to a fantastic experience to something that made you sad, like everything in between.
I think it's... people connect to music because their stories they relate to. So, and I mean, the most mundane things can be sometimes the most relatable things.
Right. Okay, so we look forward to seeing a lot more and hearing a lot more from you. I said earlier, I think you probably have enough material for about 20 albums to come, so we don't expect anything less, just to let you know.
Yeah, no pressure.
Next question up. Let's move along. Yetundey, next question up. Ike Zimble says, thank you for joining us again. We know Ike from our Q&A session. Lovely performance. The whispering was quite effective at showing the sensitivity of the mic system at the low level end. Very smart comment. How far into your power range, so to speak, did you get to test the higher levels? And this one is great because, of course, I would like to have get your feedback in general about the equipment that you did put to the test just now.
I think, first of all, thank you for the compliment. And from the range I did, or the power I did, I would say I was at maybe 80% or so, because I know there's also a lot of singers that just have a much louder organ, or especially when you go into the high frequencies, it's just generally louder. So I would say I was at 80%, but I felt like the microphone was giving it away, representing it in a very nice way. Right. And I hope that you feel the same. And yeah, I hope it answers your questions.
Ike does, obviously. And if not, feel free to send us a follow-up, Ike. And another question about equipment. What is your favorite piece of equipment from Zenheiser? What's that one piece that you would never want to give up, no matter what happens?
In-ear monitors.
And she immediately grabs her in-ear monitors. Okay, so those seem to be very important.
Little wireless transmitter little thingy that makes you move around. Yeah, I would never give that up. I would never give that up again. Even at rehearsal, we don't rehearsal with a PA anymore. We only rehearse with in-ear monitors, just because we hear what we're doing. And for me as a singer, it has made such a difference because I realized that I strain my voice so much less. Mm-hmm. With a PA system, you're just fighting against noise the whole time and wondering why your voice breaks every 20 minutes. And that has, my vocal performance has increased so much more since I use in-ears, and the rehearsals are more efficient. Mm. Everyone can put their volume how they are.
Sounds like a revolution within the process, right?
For me, it was mind-blowing. Like,
beautiful.
Never would have thought something so simple can be have such a great impact on everybody's performance.
All right, so a huge fan of the in-ears, obviously. Thank you, Yetundey. The song we just heard, Big City Life, next question up for you. It's a bold, it's a clear statement about the world we're living in, people trying to give themselves importance by putting their own body and soul on sale for a bit of fame. What kind of world would you rather see us living in? Obviously, you're not part of that movement that sells their bodies, looks, whatnot for those 5 minutes of fame. So what kind of world would you wish we would live in?
Well, thank you. You think very highly of me. You don't know me, do
The question's on the screen. I do also think very highly of you, but user question or viewer question.
Well, I think a lot of the conflicts and problems we have in the world are very much based or fueled by the fact that money is our highest good. And I think the world might look very different if it was not the number one most valuable thing to achieve, but maybe the second or the third most valuable good. And it would be very interesting to live in that world and see what that looks like. Might be complete catastrophe, but I feel like it's a bit better than where we're now.
It would be nice to dive into a world like that, at least for a week or so, see how it goes, right? Those are brilliant words to close with, and that is actually all the time we have for now. Thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to share, perhaps, with the viewers before we say goodbye? Because we are at the end of today's session.
Well, first of all, thank you for staying here, for looking at my performance, for checking out this equipment. I'm actually a fan. I'm gonna try stealing a set, and if not, I guess I'm gonna have to buy one. But yeah, I'm a genuine fan, and really am glad to be here and help you represent these products.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your brilliant performance. And on behalf of the entire Zenheiser team, the lovely Yetundey, stay powerful, stay as creative as you are, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you. I hope that we were able to give you a bit of inspiration as well, not only from the Evolution wireless system, but also from, of course, the lovely Yetundey, who put this system, this series, to the test, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you so much for joining us today, for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing all of you again very soon, and so do you, right? Of course. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.